Welcome to SCSU Local. I'm your host, Nissan Brown.
And I'm Ramona Morozis. You're watching SCSU Local, news and events brought to you locally.
SCSU Local starts now. Professor of Modern Jewish and Holocaust Studies Deborah Lipstadt talks about the new anti-Semitism and how it's different from the old anti-Semitism. The overall content of the event consisted of prejudice within anti-Semitism.
And how prejudging is dangerous. Another thing that's dangerous is denying the Holocaust ever happened. The speaker talks about the link between denial and anti-Semitism. SCSU Local has more on the evidence of the Holocaust.
In Ritchie Auditorium, I spoke to, I'm guesstimating about 500, if not more, students and faculty, people from the community. And I spoke about the new anti-Semitism, how it's both the same and how it's different from the old anti-Semitism. And I placed it within the context of prejudice. Prejudice itself is illogical. It means to prejudge. And so that when someone says something terrible, something anti-Semitic about a Jew, or about Jews, all Jews are whatever, or about an African American, all African Americans are whatever, or any other ethnic or religious group or whatever the group may be, that essentially they're prejudging. Don't confuse me with the facts. I've made up my mind. I see this person, I know what they are, and I've made my decision. And I got quite a laugh when I said, it's essentially wacko. It's stupid and it's wacko, but it's dangerous. So I think it went very well. It was a very broad topic. It's a very hard topic to discuss in such a large lecture in a limited amount of time because it's a nuanced topic.
I'm Bill Hunsaker. I teach journalism here. And the most impressive part of the evening to me is when this World War II veteran stood up and talked about how he had been a clerk at Nuremberg, and the hundreds of thousands of documents that he worked with, 200,000 documents he said, and he can't imagine how anybody could deny that there was a Holocaust.
I am Dr. Elizabeth Kirchhoff. I am an associate professor at Minnesota State University, Moorhead. I teach Holocaust studies along with English education and linguistics up at MSUM. Many of the things that she said will enrich my classes. I wrote down some notes that I thought were particularly poignant, things that I could bring into the classroom about the link between denial and anti-Semitism. My students always ask also, how can people deny it when there's so many people, so much evidence? And her link, the connection between how it is anti-Semitic, more so than not having access to documents that substantiate the Holocaust, that it happened, was a very important message for me that I'll be able to take back into my classes.
The most powerful moment was at the end, when a young student, Walid, student here at St. Cloud, stood up, a Palestinian Christian from Bethlehem. He asked about how do you establish human contact? What's my suggestion for human contact? Because he thinks the human contact, the conversation across lines, is the only thing that will really change matters. And I said I didn't have the answer to that. I knew that there are efforts and there are discussion groups, and I know in Jerusalem I have friends who participate in Palestinian-Israeli discussion groups. His question and his comment gave me a great deal of hope, and then afterwards we had a chance to speak a little bit, and I think that was a very powerful moment.
What an inspirational event and an incredible turnout. About 500 people came to the event.
This event proves that denial of the Holocaust still exists, and so it's important to continue to educate and inform about the facts. We can combat prejudice by being aware of the genocides that have happened. SCSU Local will have more for you after the break.
Today, about 1 in 5 Americans is living with a disability. Over 50 million people, including many of our friends and neighbors, teachers and co-workers, heroes and leaders. 20 years ago, the Americans with Disabilities Act guaranteed every person the right to live, work, and participate fully in the American experience. With We've come a long way since then, and we are committed to making even more progress in the years ahead. Visit disability.gov to see how you can help.
Welcome to Fogels.
Beautiful, isn't it?
You expect options everywhere else. Why not with your medical treatment? Talk with your doctor to explore all your options and find what's right for you. Visit ahrq.gov.
Sri Lankan Night has been a hot topic on campus, and this fall SCSU has a total of 42 Sri Lankan students. It's wonderful that their culture, a world away, is experienced in St. Cloud. With all the cultural diversity, people couldn't help but talk about the event, where new types of food and dancing will be introduced. Let's check out what all the talk about Sri Lankan Night was about.
I think the main purpose of this organization is to continue our heritage and share the cultural values in our country with the St. Cloud State community. We started with 4 students, and now we have grown to 50 members in our association. This is the 3rd annual Sri Lankan Night that we've been having in this St. Cloud State University.
It's a wonderful example of people coming together to create a great experience that teaches and helps people engage a culture many of our folks may not know.
The students of the association has put in so many sleepless nights in order to make this such a great event. The total night was included with 14 performances, and there were 9 dances, 1 instrumental, 1 presentation, and 1 song.
I'm here dancing and participating in a fashion show at Sri Lankan Night. I'm doing this because a friend asked me to help him out and participate in a dance, and I thought it would be fun and see a different culture.
I came to Sri Lanka Night because my friend Danushi is from Sri Lanka, and I want to learn more. I was just kind of curious in general.
Food is one of our main events in the Sri Lankan Night, and we are well reputed for our delicious food all around the campus and all around Minnesota.
Probably the children actors and then the food. Even though it was kind of spicy, I bared through it and it was great.
I have never tasted Sri Lankan food before. And I think the partnership that Sodexo, our food provider, has with students, Sodexo provides the space, makes sure that all complex legal compliance issues that a university has to deal with are covered, and then creates this place for students to be creative and to make the foods that they grew up with to share with the rest of us.
People really wanted to come and see our performances and enjoy our delicious food, and I think it was a great thing to see as the president of the association.
SCSU has international students coming from 81 different countries, and most have their own organizations. This Sri Lankan organization is like many that share their cultural values with the St. Cloud community. Diverse cultures of St. Cloud come together and experience new things. For instance, the food and dancing. SCSU Local will have more after a quick break.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover after experiencing a major disaster. Make a plan at ready.gov/business.
When life's this hard, it's no wonder 7,000 students drop out every school day. Visit boostup.org and help kids in your community stay in school.
Welcome back. Have you ever wondered how the Department of Campus Involvement was created? CSU and UPB came together as one to create this overall organization. Take a look on how this process took place and the impact it has on campus.
A lot of reorganization has been going on campus, and part of the non-academic reorganization impacted the student life and development areas. So last year we had a department called CSOLD, which was the Center for Student Organizations and Leadership Development, and we had the University Programming Department that housed the University Program Board. As part of the reorganization, those two departments became one and it's now called the Department of Campus Involvement. So within the Department of Campus Involvement, we provide support services for student organizations. We work with the spirit groups, the dance and cheer team. We work with the University Program Board. They plan major events and things for the campus and community. We also work with Greek life, fraternity and sorority community. We have civic engagement as another part of our department that is service learning and volunteer service. We also do we plan the Excellence in Leadership Awards, do some recognition programs, marketing, and all kinds of other things within our department. So really, what used to be two separate entities now has combined into a department called Campus Involvement.
I'm a graduate assistant, and I work in the department specifically with student organizations. I provide consultations for event planning, strategic planning, registration, creation of new organizations, and as needed basis. If you need help with travel, answering different questions, preparing budgets. Specifically, I'm in charge of working with Main Street and Side Street for the student organization involvement fairs. I am in charge of tracking new organizations as they develop and working with advisors. I guess the other thing is updating and managing the software for club management systems.
This is like the hub where students come to get a lot of information about our department. They come here for either codes to their bank accounts so they can print posters and make things like that. They also come here for information on Collegiate Link, like how to operate that and like how to post their information. We have fraternities and sororities if they need information about that, and we direct them to different resources throughout our department.
It's my second year working specifically with student organizations, and it's a really great position. I think student organizations are that outside of the class learning component and just how to socialize and network and event plan or do budgeting, things that you wouldn't necessarily learn from class, or something that you might be really interested in and make you think about things differently. I think being involved is something that people don't realize is how important it is to their identity, their development, their future career aspirations. Like when you really shoot for something and are invested into it, you see somebody's passion really come out. You see the heart, determination, their ability
I really admire people who are in student organizations.
That's really inspiring to see how the department handles all those different types of organizations. SCSU Local will have more news and events for you after the break.
Well, I first started skating with my friend. He had an extra board, and then he just gave it to me, and I've been skating ever since. Well, when I don't land a trick and I have my mind set on something and I'm not getting what I want, I just keep going for it until I get it right. My mom, she didn't go to college, so she wants me to experience that whole thing, and so I could end up getting like a good job. I think to get into college, I'll have to be determined. Just like when I want to get a new trick, and skating's helped me realize I've got what it takes.
Most of us are familiar with the award-winning musical and movie Hairspray. Well, a recreation of Hairspray was brought to the Dawson Boyd Music Department. Take a look at how the actors and director recreate the musical Hairspray.
My name is Melanie Benson, and I'm director of the musicals here at Dawson Boyd High School. When I moved to town, people would always talk about all the musicals, or they called them operettas that they used to do. I always wanted to do a musical, but never really had the nerve, and so what we would do in choir would be to do musical reviews. We'd do a medley, and then we'd put costumes on and act them out, and people said, "Will you quit doing this? Just do a musical." So then in 1996, we decided to do Oklahoma, and we just jumped in. We thought, well, let's do it. And we asked different people from the community to come in and help, and they've been doing that ever since. Just set the goal really high, they catch the vision, and we just go with it. But it is a team effort, huge team effort. And so since we've done Oklahoma, Music Man, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, State Fair, Guys and Dolls, Annie, West Side Story, The Wiz, Les Miserables, and now Hairspray.
You can't stop the river as it rushes to the sea.
Everyone works, we're all perfectionists, and we set the goals really high, and sometimes the costumer will come in with something new, and I think, oops, I better move it up, I better step it up. Then the set piece comes in, and I think, oh, we better move this up. The kids do the same, and so we're all encouraging each other by how well we execute everything that we're planning to do.
I'm Ryan Swenson. I played the part of Link Larkin. This is my fourth musical that I've been in. I was in West Side Story, The Wiz, Les Mis, and now Hairspray. And I like being in musicals here at Dawson because it's a great experience, and you can, take a lot of lessons from it. Like, I don't know, it expands my horizons, I guess, of the things that I'm able to do, and it's just been a lot of fun.
I've been really impressed by the Dawson Boyd school musicals, and especially by Mrs. Benson, as to how far she can take things, not to make it just a high school performance, but something that's approaching professional theater. And I'm really going to take that sense of perfectionism and the drive to do as best as you possibly can with me when I go off and participate in theater in college and the rest of my life.
I love musicals because the adrenaline high you get from them is amazing, and there's just nothing else like being on stage and performing in front of a big audience. You can really get a sense of togetherness for working with other people, and then performing on stage gives you confidence.
I'm extremely tired right now, and I've considered I can't do this anymore, I'm getting too old. But I just had a conversation with our costumer, and we're talking about, look at these kids in the future. you watch them grow as people, and that's what it's all about. It isn't about the show. It has to do with what that does for that kid, and we try to choose shows that many kids can shine. And we found out from past students that one of the main things they remember in high school is a musical. So that's what it is. It's doing things for the kids and helping them grow as people.
Everyone involved in the play works as a team and gets the experience that they need to go on as professionals. Hairspray is the 10th play that the high school has put together, and the show must go on. We can look forward to future musicals.
But speaking of musicals, The Wiz was also here in St. Cloud's own great theater company. Watch as the actors perform and talk about the hard work that went into this musical.
My name is Casey Schmall, and I play the Scarecrow in The Wiz. The Wiz is basically the same story as The Wizard of Oz, written by L. Frank Baum, but it's definitely a soulful version, kind of a jazzed up version, a lot of Technicolor, a lot of lights. So it definitely follows the same plot of Dorothy getting swept up from Kansas, meeting the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Lion, the Munchkins, the good witches, the bad witches, all that kind of fun stuff. But it definitely hits home more about really knowing who you are and staying true to yourself and believing in yourself, and knowing that in the end everything that you need to be happy and to feel good about yourself is actually right in your heart the whole time.
Different from The Wizard of Oz because it involves more of a diverse cast. In the movie, most of the actors and actresses, if not all of them, are African American. In our version of The Wiz, I guess, we have a very diverse cast of all different races.
My name is Chris Arias, and I play the Lion. Well, actually, this is my second play ever, so I don't have much experience, but I love the feeling of being up there and just singing and having everyone look at you and be like, wow, that's good.
We started rehearsing back in August. That's when we had auditions and callbacks, and then once the cast list was posted, we would practice 3 to 4 times a week, several hours a night, definitely all day Saturday rehearsals. And then once we got closer to the show the last few weeks, we would actually rehearse every single night for about 4 or 5 hours. Some of us would stay later than others, just depending on what scenes had to get put together. But it definitely takes the work of a lot of volunteers, people behind the set, stage crew, people that are here to do lighting, to build the sets, to usher, all that kind of fun stuff. So all in all, a great handful of volunteers and a lot of hours went into putting the show together.
I play a couple of different roles in The Wiz. I'm really involved. I really like getting to play a couple different things. I play part of the Yellow Brick Road, so I do a lot of singing and dancing with the leads, kind of helping Dorothy.
He's on down the road. Don't you carry nothing behind me on the road. He's on down.
I actually didn't know about it, but my friend told me about it, and she kind of pushed me to do it, and I wasn't really expecting to get a part or anything. I just went in and auditioned, and I guess they liked me, so.
I've actually been involved with Great Theater since I was in 3rd grade. My first show was Annie Jr., and I was Lieutenant Ward and Mr. Bundles, and that was a lot of fun. My mom actually had to trick my sister and I into auditioning because we did not want to audition. But after we were in the show, we had a lot of fun. And ever since then, I've just kind of been doing shows here and there. I definitely did a lot more when I was a kid. And once I grew older, I actually started working for their summer camp program. And then when I was a student at St. Cloud State, I did a few shows here and there when I had time. And now that I've graduated, this is my first show that I've been able to do again. So I've been with them for definitely at least 10 years, which has been a very, very fun ride. And it's awesome to see how they've grown from a very little theater company when I started to a very, very large theater company now. That they've expanded and they've got a larger audience and a lot more people trying out for their shows.
I found out about Great Theater during Main Street at St. Cloud, and I'm so glad that I auditioned for The Wiz. Great Theater, we're like a big family. Everyone gets to know each other. We can just be crazy. We have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot, and I would encourage anybody that's interested in theater to audition for any musical at Great because it's truly amazing. And I've had such a great experience. I can't wait to keep being in plays with them.
The musical was very well put together and it involved people from many different backgrounds. Well, we are now reaching the end of the show. Thanks for tuning in to SCSU Local.
To hear these stories again, go to YouTube/SCSU Local. See you next time as SCSU Local brings more news and events locally to you.
Now the big guy comes out to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 home runs.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
When life's this hard, it's no wonder 7,000 students drop out every school day. Visit boostup.org and help kids in your community stay in school.
Crack yellow.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American. I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American. I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American. I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American. I am
an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I am American.
I am America.
I'm an American.
I'm an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
I'm an American.
I am an American.
I am an American.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Play your part in the circle of life. Take time to be a dad today. Visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.